clicks since '06. Was on the bottom, now we running this. Grind hard when the load gets heavy. The money was slow, but now it's steady. You boys is not ready.
It's in our islands. And our waters. It's in our artistry. And across our land. It's in our history. And our cities. It's in all our stones that stand. It's time to come and find it. It's time to come and feel it. Scotland, a spirit of its own.
Well, hello, good morning and welcome to day 3 of the British Swimming Championships 2016. Now we're coming live from Tollcross International Swimming Centre every single day for the remainder of the competition. I can't believe it's day 3 already, but 2 days of incredible action have been here all week so far. It's been fantastic. Now the races last night, let's quickly recap. Georgia Davies taking the gold in the women's 100-metre backstroke. Adam Mallet taking the 200-metre butterfly event. Then Chloe Tutton breaking the British record in the 200 breaststroke, and Chris Walker-Hebben taking the gold in the men's 100-metre backstroke. It was riveting. It was fantastic. If you missed it, keep a look on the British Swimming website. You can have a look on the YouTube channel as well to recap and review the races that we've had so far. But don't forget, we are coming live, so we have exclusive access to all of our swimming events and swimmers, current, previous Olympians as well. They're going to be coming in the studio with me for the rest of the week. So today is not going to disappoint. We have the men's 100-metre freestyle kicking off this morning, women's 200-metre butterfly, the men's 400 individual medley, and the women's 50-metre freestyle as well. So if you blink, you'll miss that one. I know Francesca Halsall is in great shape for this one, so let's see what's going to unfold this morning. The finals tonight, we have the women's 800-metre freestyle as well. Kerry-Ann Payne and Jazz Carlin going out in that one. So that's going to be our first final of the evening. So make sure you don't miss that one tonight. It's going to be, of course, live. Now, if you're having a good time watching the stream, which I'm sure you are, we've had thousands of views from all around the world. Just tweet us, #BSC16. That's #BSC16. Tweet us the support for all of the swimmers that you're rooting for, because I tell you what, this is a big competition leading up to a bit of a big event coming up. Of course, the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio this summer. It's going to be a good session this morning. Fantastic evening of finals, so don't miss it. If you know somebody that likes swimming, let them know what's going on. The live stream is the place to be. Now I'm going to hand you over to our commentators, former Olympian Ross Davenport and Bob Ballard. I'm going to commentate you through the heats this morning.
Thank you, Hannah. Good morning. Welcome back to Tollcross and day 3 of the British Swimming Championships 2016. Some excitement last night in the 200 breaststroke and plenty of excitement on day 1 with Adam Peaty and James Guy. That's what we have for you coming up. The men's 100 freestyle heat. Can anybody put pressure on Ben Proud? That's the question we're looking to get answered today. The women's 200 butterfly heat following that. Then the 400 IM. Roberto Pafodi looking to go hopefully to another Olympics if he can. Another tough qualification time for him. And then Fran Halsall should be the queen of the pool in the women's 50 metres freestyle heat, which will be 4th up this morning. Morning, Ross Davenport. Here we go for another day. And what are you looking forward to most?
Good morning, Bobby B. It's a pleasure to be here yet again. Seen a fantastic day 1 and some great swimming last night. Chloe Tutton and that 200 metres breaststroke. They got a silver medal at the Worlds last year with that time. So fingers crossed that she can have a great couple of months training leading into the games if selected next week. But this morning, kicking off with the the blue ribbon event, the men's 100 metres freestyle. It's going to be really interesting. Talked a lot about Ben Proud. I've not seen him swim yet this week. But there's also going to be Callum Jarvis. Callum Jarvis actually won the British Championships last year, beating Ben Proud. So it's going to be really exciting to see who makes the final. Duncan Scott, for me, is an emerging talent. He's a young swimmer that is in the University of Stirling, and he's starting to make some big gains. And so, I expect him to be in the mix. So it's going to be good this morning, and see what happens tonight.
Fair to say, Ross, it has been quite a weak event in British swimming, the 100 freestyle for men, for, well, a couple of decades now. Took a long time for any of our swimmers to get sub 50, took even longer to get sub 49. We're kind of looking for somebody to come behind Ben Proud now, because we aren't able to put a 4x1 together for the major events. We need 2, 3, 4, 5 Ben Prouds to come through.
Yeah, we certainly do, and I do think that is happening. Callum Jarvis had a great year last year. He's in the 48s now. Ben Proud is in the 48s. You see if Robbie Rennick can probably get down there. Talked about Duncan Scott as well. So we are getting a select group coming through, and it will be interesting to see how that pans out this morning. But yeah, historically it hasn't been the strongest event in British swimming, but we need to have a strong leg on this freestyle, because we've got this medley relay that is very, very exciting come the Olympics.
Right, on to the first of the heats, and we will have 7 of them in the men's 100 freestyle. Big names, of course, in the cyclically seeded heats, which come towards the end of this part of the programme. 3 go to post for the first of the heats. Thomas Kingham of Millfield is in lane 3. James Oxborough of Bolton Metro in 4. Michael Jacobs of Sevenoaks starting things off in lane number 5.
Yeah, a little bit of a head-to-head start this day 3 heat session. Just 3 of them in the first heat. And it does look like it is the centre lanes 4 and 5 that are going to be turning first, and it is in fact Michael Jacobs from Sevenoaks in lane number 5, turning 24.81, slightly ahead of James Oxborough from Bolton Metro. Just over a tenth of a second ahead at the halfway stage.
Well, Oxborough and Michael Jacobs have exactly the same entry time here, and they are side by side in lanes 4 and 5. Who's going to get there first? Michael Jacobs is going to get there, I think, just ahead of Thomas Kingham. We're tight on the touch. 51.9 is the finishing time for Michael Jacobs. Thomas Kingham in second place, and Bolton Metro's James Oxborough with a 52.39. So first sub 52 swim there for Michael Jacobs.
All under their entry time as well from this morning. So first time into the 51s for Michael Jacobs. Just narrowly missing out Thomas Kingham from Millfield.
Yeah, and the 11.100s between them in the end. Good finish from Michael. Might potentially get another swim later on today. We'll have to wait and see when it comes to the junior finals. We're to heat 2 of the 100 free. 8 going to start here. Nathan Bennett of City of Manchester Aquatics in 1, Grant Henderson Glasgow in 2, William Bevan of Burnley in 3, Toby Douglas of the Duns Club in 4, Thomas Atkinson, City of Sheffield in 5, Lewis Barker of Millfield 6, Andrew Roy Woking 7, and Charlie Humphreys of Nova Centurion in lane 8.
Andrew Roy having an absolute storm in first 50 out in lane number 7. Mentioned it before, you expect the faster swimmers to be in the centre lanes 4 and 5, but it is Andrew Roy that's turning first, 25.0, so a little bit slower than the previous heat, but he's out there in front. The rest of the pack now starting to claw him back. It looks like a strong second 50 from lanes 5 and number 3.
Yeah, Atkinson and Bevan are side by side. Also lane 1 you've got to look at here. Nathan Bennett coming with a very late charge, trying to get into first place. Not going to quite manage it. Third place for Nathan in a 52.48. 52.4 for the winner, so not as quick as the opening heat for William Bevan. 52.40, just edging out Thomas Atkinson by 6/100ths of a second. In fact, 1 to 3, separated by 8/100ths of a second. 52.40, 52.46, 52.48. 1, 2, 3 in that race.
Mentioned it yesterday, but it's such a nice feeling when you're in one of the, should we say, slower heats, and you post a time and your time's still the fastest. after a couple of heats have gone. So that's what's happening so far. Michael Jacobs.
It may not stay that way for very long, because there are a couple of swimmers who've done sub-52s before in this field. Thomas Sinclair of Aquasulis in 1, Jarvis Parkinson, Dr. Darts 2, Charlie Pullen of Guildford in 3, Elliot Clogg is back for more in lane 4, Sidney of Sheffield, William Cole of Bristol in 5, Thomas Fannin of Plymouth goes in 6, Rory Burdin of Staines in 7, and Coward Forth's Joshua Thompson will complete the lineup as we hit the 50 mark.
Thomas Fannin from Plymouth, Leander, turning first 24.37, so sizable improvement on the previous 2 heats at the halfway stage. He's obviously at Plymouth, the same as Ben Proud, so these guys will be going head to head, and he's looking very, very strong over the final 25 metres.
It's he and lane 4 going to the wall together. Elliot Clogg is trying to catch him, as is Jarvis Parkinson in 2. Who's going to get there first? Just Elliot Clogg in 51.40, which is the fastest time of the morning so far. Second place going to Jarvis Parkinson, only 9 100ths adrift in second. And third place going to Charlie Pullen of Guildford in 51.7. So Elliot Clogg 51.4. So just having a quick check, is, yeah, new personal best for him. On to heat number 4 of the men's 100 freestyle. And there's your lineup. Plymouth Leander in there again. It's also a bit like Millfield with the 400 freestyles the other day. We're getting loads of Plymouth Leander swimmers in the 100 free. And that's John Slater in 8. I'll go backwards in fact on this one. Yeah, Lloyd in 7 for City of Cardiff. Adam Barrett, we know him better maybe in the butterfly going in the freestyle here, goes in 6. Jake Tyson of Ipswich in 5. Cameron Curl of Millfield 4. Lewis Burris of Southport 3. Sean Muscroft of City of Liverpool in 2. And Alex Ray of Deepings in lane number 1.
Yeah, great start from Adam Barrett from Loughborough University, turning first 23.64 out in lane number 6. Ian Lloyd 1 lane behind. Expect him to finish very strong. More the 400, 200 specialist. Adam Barrett had a great year in 2014. Not so great last year, and he's hoping to put the wrongs right in 2016. But a fast finish from Ian Lloyd.
Yeah, not going to quite catch Adam Barrett. This should be the quickest of the morning so far. First sub-50 swim comes from Adam Barrett. 49.49 for him. That's a good way to blow those cobwebs away. And it's a decent swim too by Ian Lloyd. He'll be hoping to be in the top 8 if he can be. It's what we're looking for. We're going straight to finals, of course, here this week. First 2 swimmers going sub-50. Adam Barrett 49.49 and Ian Lloyd 49.86.
You mentioned a little bit earlier, we were slow to the party of going under 50 seconds in Britain. So it's always nice to see that there's a couple of 49s in the heats. Not one of the faster heats, shall we say.
3 more to come, so we should get some faster times still yet. Robbie Rennick is in this one, goes in lane 4. Craig McLean of University of Stirling in 1, David Cumberledge of Edinburgh in 2, Jordan Hughes, Stirling in 3, Robbie also at Stirling in 4, Miles Munro, Bath 5, Jack Thorpe, Edinburgh University in 6, Martin Walton of University of Stirling in 7, and Otto Putland of City of Cardiff in 8.
Is Robbie Rennick turns first at the halfway stage, 23.7, so a little bit slower than what Adam Barrett was out. But expect Robbie to come back really, really quick. He's now dropped the 400 from his programme, just concentrating on the 200 and the 100. He's looking incredibly strong down this last 50 metres, streaking away from the rest of the field. And the battle is on, and who's going to come second?
Well, his entry time is 49.12, and he's just outside that, 49.32 to Robbie Rennick. Thought he might possibly go a little bit quicker, just eased off a little bit towards the end. It's a breeze for him. It's a 400 tour and 200 tour as he was. And second place, not quite breaking that 50 barrier. So only 3 gone under 50 so far. Miles Munro, 50.44, equal with Jack Thorpe on the touch. Equals second, those two. But only 3 so far under that 50 barrier, which was an important mark about 10 years ago, I've got to say. Maybe I'm feeling like an old-time swimming commentator here, but 50 was quite important about 10 years ago. I think we're looking at 49 as the new 50 now, aren't we?
Yeah, we certainly are, yeah. You know, when you get people going 47.0 in the world.
Liam Tancock did have a crack at this. He's going to go in lane 7. Again, somebody you normally associate with backstroke, but He's a decent freestyler, and he'll be looking before his career is over to post a really good time. Remember, Adam Rucker was a good case in point there. Another backstroker who latterly in his career started doing the 100 free and was knocking out some really good times.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Liam's been 48.8 in the past, and in 2009 was one of the number one freestylers in the country, not only on the backstroke as well. So, but it's a fantastic start from Grant Quigley from Stockport, actually turning in third. James Disney May from Loughborough turns first in lane number 3.
James based in the States. He has been for quite a few years. When he's back with James Gibson in Loughborough, he's training in this country and looking good, looking very good. Actually, Callum Jarvis is tracking him all the way. Braxton Tim, another butterfly swimmer in the freestyle event here, as we watch the time 49.87. It's not exceptional, but it'll do for a morning swim for the winner, James Disney May. And again, only one in that field getting under 50. 50.17 for Callum Jarvis in second, Braxton Tim in third, and that means that everybody in the last heat knows exactly what they have to do. Go sub 50, you're probably going to make the final.
Yeah, so that's a good swim from James Disney May. Came onto the scene 2011, 2012. Just kind of went off the boil a little bit the last couple of years, so it's great to see him come back.
Interesting to see what quite a few of these swimmers do in this race. Got Nick Granger coming down from 400. In fact, he's scratched, so we don't have him. Ben Proud is in there. Duncan Scott is in there. I'm surprised to see Nick on the lineup because he'll be there for the 200 at the weekend. And, well, hopefully he will be, if that's not an illness that's preventing him from swimming this morning. But all eyes will be on lane number 4, the blue cap of Ben Proud.
Yeah, what a start. What a start. He comes up heads and shoulders above the rest. But I'm really excited to see what Duncan Scott can do. He's on, if you can see it on the screen, he's moved to the left to get on the wave of Ben Proud. And he's going to be riding that wave, trying to get sucked along by Ben Proud. This is a fantastic swim from both these guys in the middle.
I see Ben go sub 49 this morning, but I'm not sure that's quite going to be the case.
I think Duncan's looking really, really strong.
Coming right alongside is Duncan Scott right on the fish as Ben eases into the wall. Well, he does. They both do sub 49 swims. Well, that looked incredibly easy for Ben Proud because he was easing off so much over the last 15 there, and he's done 48.68, and Duncan Scott's done 48.81, so only 13 100ths behind, but that looked remarkably smooth from Ben Proud.
It did. He just seemed to work it to 75 metres, then started to slip off or take his foot off the gas. It looked like actually he started to get a bit lower, and that's what happens when you reduce your stroke rate. You seem to sink a little bit in the water, but you can definitely tell he started to ease back, especially going in the last 5 metres, almost glided into the wall. But a great swim from Duncan Scott. First time under 49 seconds, and that's looking great. That's looking very good.
Yeah, very good. Look at the finish here.
Yeah, you can see he's just easing off. He's watching every single way, and he just glides to the wall. Duncan Scott was having that momentum, was tracking him every step of the way.
I think John would be terribly happy with that finish, to be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's in the heats. It's in the heats. Just if you're watching it and you're a young up-and-coming freestyler, don't watch it. Just watch him in the final. But yeah, Duncan Scott, he'll be riding that wave tonight in the final. He'll be next to him. He's placed himself in a fantastic position. He's going to, also, Robbie is going to be the other side of Ben Proud, and Robbie will come back very, very quick. So if Ben can really get out strong on that first 50 and really kind of get these guys to go with him, then it's going to be exciting down that last 50 metres.
Yeah, Adam Barrett, Ian Lloyd, James Disney May, Kieran McGuckin and Callum Jarvis will make up the 8-4 tonight in the final of the 100 free.
Well, joining me in the studio now is former Paralympic swimmer Kate Grain. And listen, what a great start for this morning's session. Some hard, strong swims, but you can just see swimmers easing back a little bit. How important is that in the heats?
The 100 freestyle is such a fast race, and these guys, they're big guys, they're muscular guys. You've got the likes of Ben Proud there posting the fastest time, just getting under that 49-second marker. And they want to be preparing for this evening. They don't want to give too much away, as they know it's going to be a great race.
Like you say, it's such a fast race, such a fast stroke to swim. You can't afford to make any errors. Maybe, in the 200s or the sort of further distances, you can afford to maybe hold back a bit. They can't do that today.
Absolutely not. The start's got to be perfect, the turn's got to be perfect, they've got to make the most of that underwater phase. And actually, someone like Ben Proud, he specialises in 50, so he knows how to get it right to the absolute millisecond. And with the youngster Duncan Scott just finishing just behind him in that last heat, it's going to be great. You've got a youngster versus slightly more experienced there, and you can't rule out the likes of Callum Jarvis and James Disney May. Both of them have medalled here in previous years at the British Championships, so that race is going to be hot to watch.
Yeah, one to watch as well. Robbie Rennick, he had a good performance there as well.
He did. He obviously was out on his own in the earlier heats, but he's such an experienced veteran. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to perform, and like you said, it's about performing under pressure in these finals, because you do feel the pressure. You know, we're day 3 now. There's been some great swims already, but who's going to step up the mark now and start getting close to those nomination times?
Yeah, and of course it's so important to make sure that all the swimmers have such a good performance that they get those middle lanes in the final this evening. You know, we don't want to be on the outside lanes. You want to be in the central lane, spearheaded, where the action's happening.
You can see the splash in those middle lanes. It is so hard to be up against that splash if you're in the outside lanes. If you're in the middle lanes, you've got free open water. It means you've got clear speed to go as fast as you want to go, and you're in control of the race. If you're in the outside lanes, it's a battle against the waves.
Yeah. Now, Kate, you've been interviewing our winners so far, haven't you? Who's impressed you the most? What event? Just
I
quickly.
loved Chloe Tutton last night. She was an absolute superstar. That face, that smile.
She couldn't believe it, could she?
No, and I don't think anybody else could either. We were all watching Molly Renshaw, and then Chloe comes along, does a British record, sets a 3-second personal best, but just really humble about it. She was supporting her other teammates that had really helped her along the way, and just showing the amount of work that's gone into it. And then obviously on day 1, we got the likes of Hannah Miley doing the time, who's now going to be coming up in the 400 individual medley.
She never stops, that girl,
sorry,
does
not
she?
in 400 medley. She's coming up a little bit later on, but she's such a busybody. She's doing every single race she can get her hands on just to make sure she's covering every base.
Yeah, she certainly is, and she's a great, fantastic role model for all of our swimmers. Well, let's move on to our next event. It's over to Bob and Ross.
And before we do, we should just update you that there was a new Scottish record set in that last heat of the 100 free. Duncan Scott has got it. So a good movement forward, not only for him, but for Scottish records as well. Well done to Duncan. And they'll be looking to improve upon that still further tonight. Here we are with the first of the heats of the 200 butterfly for women. And as with the men's 100 fly, we have 3 at the start. One was a little bit dodgy. Hopefully it's okay. Melanie Hall in 3, Jodie Bunker in 4, Emily Nisbet in 5, Royal Wolverhampton, City of Sunderland and City of Oxford is where they come from.
So another head-to-head on the fly this morning. Such a difficult race, 200 fly. I say that, I've never even done it. So.
Don't look at me. We're not going to go down that road again. With the old piano. In fact, they're just wheeling it in out the back. I've just seen it. I've seen the old piano just being wheeled in. Elton John's available today.
But no, it's one of those races you really have to pace well, because, like you say, that piano can be on your back at any point. And it's all about finishing strong, keeping that momentum down the 3rd and 4th 50 and getting your hand on the wall before anybody else. So it's a difficult race. It is one of the toughest races on the programme. And these girls really not in for an easy ride.
Why would you select this event?
Because you're good at it.
I also asked the same question on the 1500 freestyle, to be honest. When you see young kids coming into the sport, I think, well, why would you choose, as of right, that to be your event?
It's, sometimes you don't choose, and it's what you're good at and it's what you have to do. And these girls, and so the lad from the other day, we put in miles and miles in each week. An average swimmer, when they're coming into their senior career, will be doing about 60,000 metres a week, which is roughly about 40 miles of swimming a week. So it's a huge commitment to be a swimmer, and we're seeing those results come out in the final sessions.
Especially Glasgow to Edinburgh, isn't it? 40 miles, something like that. It's about 35, I think.
Swimming it every week.
Yeah, ridiculous, isn't it?
For around about 48 weeks of a year.
And you live for these glamour moments when you get a chance to show and parade what you can do on a bigger stage. And that's what Melanie Hall, Jodie Bunker and Emily Nisbet are doing right now. The best of them, well, it's very close between Melanie Hall and Emily Nisbet with 25 metres to go. They are pretty much stroke for stroke. They've dropped Jodie Bunker. The other two are very close.
Melanie Hall is having a fantastic swim in lane number 3. But it does look like it's going to be the swimmer in lane number 5, Emily Nisbet from City of Oxford.
Now, look at the entry times here, and they're all around about the 2:19 mark. Yeah, pretty much there today.
with the winning time 2:19.99 for the Oxford swimmer in lane 5. Second was Melanie Hall, 2:20.31, and Jodie Bunker make it in third. Good to see they were clear, because there was a slight little hiccup on the start there, but they're okay, all three of them.
Saw a lot of disqualifications yesterday morning.
Yeah, in the breaststroke in particular.
Yeah, officials definitely had their ready break.
And they're a bit eagle-eyed. We also, of course, hope that one of our main swimmers doesn't get DQ'd. I mean, every swimmer would hate to be DQ'd, but we don't want any of our potential medalists for Europeans or potentially Olympics to fall foul of that rule. On to heat number 2 of the 200 butterfly. We have 8 to start, so I'll run through them for you. Chiara Schlossen of City of Leeds in 1, Laura Hodgson of Newcastle 2, Amy Bell of Sheffield in 3, Birmingham's Caitlin Hubbard in 4, Eve White of Dumfries in 5, Molly Roothouse of Stockport Metro goes in 6, Nikki Miller of East Kilbride in lane number 7, and 8, Rebecca Fisher of City of Leeds. Now, when I did the 100 freestyle, I was able to do that as they finished on 50, but there's still quite a way to go in the first 50 of the 200.
Yeah, a lot of swimmers all bunched together. The first swimmer is Caitlin Hubbard from City of Birmingham, 29.98. Just marginally ahead of the rest of the field at a 25% mark on that first 50. It's also, you mentioned that the swimmers don't want to be disqualified for potential medalists in Rio, but a lot of these swimmers that we're watching now have got their eyes on European junior qualification, and it's such a big thing to be able to represent your country at any level. It's such a big thing to be here at the British Championships. So it's not nice to see anybody get disqualified, but the rules are the rules. If you are making an infringement, then you will get caught out.
Good turn, and a very positive third 50 here from Chiara Schlossen of City of Leeds in lane number 1. The archetypal outside smoker on this one, with Caitlin Hubbard in lane number 4 trying to track her, but how aware she will be if Chiara, I'm not quite sure, because they are 3 lanes apart. It's going to be lane 1's going to get to the wall just first, with Caitlin Hubbard in second place. Third is Laura Hodgson, and 4th Eve White.
We've seen Chiara Schlossen before in the previous heat sessions, and she does have this tendency to go out really, really strong and hold on. And holding on is exactly what she's doing. If not, she's extending her lead over Caitlin Hubbard from City of Coventry. And she is looking incredibly strong down this 450. She is, in fact, extending her lead over the rest of the field, and she has 7 metres to go.
2:18.66 is her entry time. Oh, she'll be well inside that. Well inside that. 2:14.04. 4 second and more PB there for Chiara. And she's won that by over 2 seconds as well. 2:16.13 is the second place time for Caitlin Hubbard. And third, Laura Hodgson. That's a massive PB.
It is a massive PB. It's even a PB for lane 4, Caitlin Hubbard. So a huge, huge swim out in lane number 1. And it's great to see outside smokers. It's great.
Terrific time. Yeah, 2:14.04. She won't be, next time she swims that, she'll be one of the inside lanes. She won't be on the outside now with a time like that. So it's a bit like the handicap in racing. Once people know how good you are, and you suddenly don't quite get the outside advantage of people not being able to see you out there in the boondocks. There's a lineup for Heat 3. Again, we have a full contingent, I think. Just check and make sure that all 8 are in place. And they are. No, they're not, actually. We've got 7. We're losing 1. We lost lane 1. We lost Caitlin Wheatley in lane number 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So nobody in lane number 1. But Isabel Griffiths is there for Birmingham. Kiana McInnes in 3. Anna Cheeseborough of Loughborough. 4. Fern Davis of Swansea in 5. Evan King of Western Supermare in 6. Loughborough's Emma Day in 7. And Lincoln Vulcan's Tara Howarth goes in lane number 8. They're on their way back now. That's a 50 completed.
Emma Day turning first from Loughborough University, 29.7. Seen her again. It's another swimmer we've seen a lot so far over the opening 2.5 days of the championships. And we saw her in the 400 medley on day 1, the breaststroke yesterday. On the IM, her strong leg was the butterfly leg, and she has gone out incredibly strong. but the rest of the swimmers now are starting to claw back. And Fern Davis from Swansea Aquatics in lane number 5 looks like she's going to get the touch at the halfway stage.
Very tight, not much in it. Evan King gets there, 104.46 at the halfway stage. Emma Day just behind, but only by a quarter of a second, and then 1/100th of a second adrift of her is Tara Howarth. And there's pretty much, what, 5 in a line here from lane 4 up to lane 8.
Yeah, 0.3 separating the first 4 at the halfway mark, and only half second separating the first 5. So real close heat in heat number 3. The women's 200 metres butterfly. And to look on the screen, it looks like Emma Day has made that charge down that third 50. Looks like her hat's coming off.
Oh, that's not nice. Evan King just in front. Emma Day in 3rd place. That's not going to help her swimming over the last 50. She better do it bareheaded because there's no law against it, but it'll just be a little bit uncomfortable for her over the last 50. You know, I don't want to call this yet with 25 to go because it's wide open. There's 4, 5 still in a line. In fact, there's now 6 in a line because coming in to join the party is Caitlin Wheatley on the far side. But we're looking closer to home here. We're looking at lanes 6 and 5. Probably just Fern Davis. Fern Davis is going to get to the wall first, is she, or not? Yes, she is. 2:16.40 is her time. Well done to Fern. 2nd place to Evan King, about 0.4 of a second behind. And 3rd going to Anna Cheeseborough of Loughborough. That's your 1, 2, 3.
And we lost the cap. If you're interested, the cap came off around about 17 metres from home. Emma Day was wearing 2 caps, and you're just feeling like, where's my cap gone?
Yeah. Has she retrieved it?
No, well, she's got 2 caps on, so...
So where's the other one? Floating at the bottom of the pool?
Yeah. Around about 17 metres. Can't see from this position, but we saw it sink, and she's...
I think I sent a frogman in to go and get it for her.
Imagine how you do 200 fly, and then actually you've got to go back and go and get your cap.
Yeah.
Well, swim to the bottom of the pool, but she doesn't. I don't think she realises. But does she? I don't think she realises because she's got 2 caps on, so she just feels like.
Why would you do that, by the way? Just a matter of interest. Why would you have 2 caps?
There's different types of caps. If you're really that interested, I can
No,
go into it.
I'm intrigued. Yeah. You know.
Yeah,
You don't wear 2 hats normally, do you?
A lot of people do, yes, because you've got your training cap. There's a silicone cap that does have wrinkles in it. And you see a lot of these swimmers now, we call them bullet caps, that are seamless and they've got no wrinkles in it. So the girls will put a silicone hat underneath, as more like a hair management system, and then put the bullet cap over the top.
Nothing that ever worries you with your hair routine?
Basically, it's nothing like your shower cap.
I don't have much hair, so I don't have to worry about those kind of things these days. Heat 4 of the women's 200 butterfly. And 1, 2, 3, no, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we missed. No, she went so deep there. She went so deep to Alice Thomas. I didn't see it come up, but she has to go.
She went to pick the cap up.
Yeah. Maybe she's going to be our scuba diver now. She had a brilliant start, and she went so deep that I didn't even see her off the start. But we're in the turquoise outfit in lane number 4. Is Alice Thomas. I'll give you the 1 to 8. Actually, Lily West of Bath, Rachel Kelly, Loughborough, Laura Stevens, Plymouth, Alice Thomas of Swansea, Romford, Eleanor Sheridan, Tasmin Pugh of Ellesmere. Oh, by the way, I'll come back to that in just a moment. Isabel Grant in 7 and Abby Wood in lane number 8.
You got told off yesterday, didn't you?
I'm going to come back to that in just a moment, yeah.
Yeah, you did get told off, but it's a fantastic start, as Bob said. Alice Thomas from Swansea Aquatics, also tracking a Rachel Kelly, more of 100. Stepping up to the 200 butterflyer. Saw Rachel Kelly have an emerging year last year, already over the last 18 months in the Commonwealth Games team and the World Championship team. But it is Alice Thomas still leading at the halfway stage, 61.66. Rachel Kelly from Loughborough University, 62.83. So those swimmers, and now it is lane number 3 that's moving into 2nd place, Laura Stevens from Plymouth Leander. So no doubt who the leader is at the minute as we're coming into the final turn. You see on your screen she's got a sizable gap over the rest of the field.
So Ellesmere College, independent school and boarding school in Shropshire, not Ellesmere Port or Ballard. And by the way, amongst its former pupils, an England Rugby Union captain Bill Beaumont. There you go. So hopefully I've righted the wrong of calling you Ellesmere Port yesterday. I do apologise. I thought there was only one Ellesmere, but that's Ellesmere College. So Alan hopefully now will forgive me.
What What a great swim this is.
Isn't it true? And I didn't even see her in the pool when she started, so now you see her, now you don't. Now you see her again. Alice Thomas is coming in with a brilliant finish. What kind of time can she post? 2:09.28 is her winning time, and that is just inside her personal best. She has done a 2:09.5 before. She's into the realms of the 2:09.2s now, so that's a terrific start for Alice Thomas. One of the more experienced of the swimmers. She's a 90 born, so there we go. They're going to get the cap now. Here she goes. She's going to go get the cap.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can get a camera on this. She's going to go and retrieve the cap.
Just see there.
She's got it.
Yeah.
There we go. Just the back of the side of your picture there, you can just see her retrieving her cap.
Just mentioned about Alice Thomas. Great swim under her entry time. She had a shocking finish. Really close to the wall and put an extra stroke in. Should have glided instead of putting that extra stroke in. It's always quicker if you are a little bit out and a little bit far from the wall. It's better to glide than to put an extra stroke in. And that's what she did, put an extra stroke in, but it's not going to affect the result, just the time.
Heat 5, and you'll notice that Hannah Miley is back for more. This time around it's the 200 butterfly. Saw her in the 400 IM winning that event the other day. Still waiting to see whether she will get an entry into the Olympic team for the third time of asking. Meg Finnan of East Kilbride goes in 1. Abigail Humphreys of City of Coventry in 2. Holly Hibbert of Stockport Metro in 5. The Geary swimmer Hannah Miley in 5. Chantel Austin of Bath University in 5. Charlotte Atkinson of Loughborough University in lane 6. Stephanie Blakeburn of Billingham in 8. And Emily Large giving it some in lane number 8 for Newcastle. First 50 just about done. Who's where?
It is the swimmer in lane number 6, turning in 28.92, Charlotte Atkinson from Loughborough University. And she still is leading at the 75-metre mark. Also going very well is Stephanie Blakeman from Billingham. And it's going to be these two swimmers. Also Emily Large. Emily Large, she loves to go out strong. We say, don't we? Emily Large, giving it large.
Giving it large. She said, yeah, she's going to be either second or third at this turn. She's, oh no, she's not. She's first. She's even better than that. She's done a 62.79 compared to a 62.84 from Charlotte Atkinson. And third is Stephanie Blackburn, but they were separated by half a second, 1 to 3 there.
Yeah, 5/100ths of a second separating first and second at the halfway mark. Now it's these three girls still stretching the field. It's up to the rest of the girls to close that gap. Emily Large is going very well, storming down this third 50. She did turn first at the 100. It's been tracked all the way by Charlotte Atkinson of Loughborough University. It still is Emily Large turning first in 1:37.00, just 0.2 behind.
Where's Hannah? Back in 6th at the moment. She's fastest in the field. On paper. Not happening today though.
Not happening today. It is all about Emily Large in lane number 8.
Yeah, she led at the 50, and can she lead at the 200? She's being pushed all the way by Charlotte Atkinson in lane number 6. I don't think she's going to catch her though. She's not going to catch her, and this could be a sizable personal best again for Emily Large. Prior to today, 2:14.4. Forget that, and make it 2:11.63. That's a massive. We've had two really big 200 butterfly PBs today, and there's another one for the winner of heat number 5, 2:11.63, followed by Charlotte Atkinson's 2:13.41, and third Holly Hibbert. Hannah Miley did pick up a few places at the end there, 2:14.14. Will that be good enough to make the final tonight? Indeed, does she want to do the final tonight?
Yeah, I don't think it will be. The heat before, the 2:09 from Alice Thomas. So that heat a little bit slow, as you would expect, having a lane 8 winner. But a great time. Great time. Almost 3-second PB from Emily Large.
Yeah, 2:11. Excellent stuff. Right. These are the main movers and shakers coming up here, though. Amy Wilmot, just like Hannah, fresh from the, or relatively fresh from the 400 IM. But centre lane, our best butterfly swimmer is Gemma Lowe in 4. Harriet Jones in 1 for City of Cardiff. Stockport's Brianna Close in 2. Emma Smithhurst of City of Manchester in 4. Mentioned Gemma Lowe of Bath. And Amy Wilmot of London Aquatics. Amelia Klein of City of Leeds in 6, Tane Bruce of Edinburgh in 7, and Candice Hall of City of Leicester in 8. This should all be about Gemma Lowe, and certainly is about Gemma Lowe early stages. She's very powerful. She's represented Great Britain at World, European and Olympic level, and she's leading the field here.
Yeah, she's looking great. Gemma Lowe, lane number 4 from Bath University, 29.06. Candice Hall, see Candice a lot as well, swimming very well on the 400 IM. Candice using that experience from day 1, bringing it into day 3, but it still is Gemma Lowe. A beautiful stroke, keeping low to the surface of the water, breathing every 2, making it look very, very easy, opposed to the more upright technique from Amy Wilmot. Also going very well is Emma Smithurst from City Manchester Aquatics, but it is going to be Gemma Lowe turning first in 62.16, over half a second ahead, 0.6 over Emma Smithurst in lane number 3. Amy Wilmot just starting to make a little bit of a move now, but it is still Gemma Lowe in the white cap from the University of Bath, still probably around about half a body length ahead.
So you're basically saying Emily Large gives it large and Gemma Lowe keeps it low, is that what you're saying? That's good. I like it. 150 then. Gemma Lowe 136.48, leading Amy Wilmot by 19/100ths of a second. It's not a procession for Amy because she's going to have to stave off Amy Wilmot in the adjoining lane, and at the moment she's not quite doing that.
Gemma's still looking very strong. The final 25 metres. This is where a 200 butterfly really does start to hurt, but she's starting to actually edge out in front. 19/100ths of a second was the gap at 150. Let's see what it is at 200.
Well, it looks like it'll be a bit more, but Amy's found a second wind and will come in to finish in second place to 11.04 for Gemma. It's well outside her personal best, as we might expect from a heat swim. She doesn't need to go for broke. Amy's time of 2:11.57 is a couple of seconds outside her personal best as well. So here's the confirmation of the results. Gemma Lowe, Amy Wilmot, Amelia Klein. We'll give you the 8 that are going to go through to the final in just a moment. But Gemma 2:11.04 and Amy in second. Let's see who has made it through and who hasn't made it through. Alice Thomas, fastest, 2:09. Gemma Lowe, Amy Wilmot, Emily Large, Laura Stevens, Amelia Kleins, Charlotte Atkinson and Emma Smithurst are the 8 who make it through to the final of the 200 fly later today.
So that was the women's 200 metres butterfly there. Men's 400 IM coming up very shortly. Strong, consistent performances there, Kate.
Yeah, and there was actually a bit of a shock performer by Alice Thomas performing a 2:09, 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, training in Swansea. She's been one of these performers around for a long time, always within the mix, but this could be her year. If you look at the previous people that have won this championship, Hannah Miley last year, Amy Wilmot the year before, we've seen them perform in the 400 IM already this week. They could be feeling a little bit tired, I can imagine. Yeah. But it looks like Hannah may have just missed out on the final looking at the results sheets there.
Yeah, which is quite interesting. A lot of expectations on Hannah Miley. I mean, we kind of lose count of how many events that she's competing in. Do you think she'll be frustrated with that?
She never seems to be the sort to be frustrated. She might be behind the scenes, but on the front, she just likes to compete. You know, Glasgow is a great place.
Did you see a quick replay there of the last heat that we just saw there? Nice
Gemma
and composed by Gemma Lowe.
Yeah, she's got a brilliantly smooth stroke. I don't think she's showing us all her cards just yet. She probably would have seen the previous heats before her and is just taking in her stride in those final few strokes. But she's also one of those always up there. She finished silver last year and she'll be wanting to take that gold this year.
As will Amy Wilmot as well, who took the bronze last year, training at London Aquatics. You know, this could potentially be a bit of a jewel in the pool between those two.
I think so, and Amy's probably a little bit disappointed from her performance in the 400 individual medley. When I saw her get out the pool, and obviously Hannah was delighted, Amy looked disappointed, and maybe this is her chance to redeem herself, to maybe get herself back up there and be in consideration times.
Yeah. Okay, well that was the women's 200 metres butterfly, a race that we both said looked incredibly tiring. Let's move on now to the men's 400 individual medley. It's over to Ross and Bob.
First half of the heats. Again, We'll get a bit of continuity here. Only 3 in the first heat, as there was in the previous 2 events as well. And there's a bit more space, a bit more focus on Alexander Carroll of City of Coventry, Max Murphy of City of Milton Keynes in 4, and Alfie Collins of Hillingdon in lane number 5. So here we go. Butterfly first, then the back, then the breast, then the front crawl. And we've said before, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but we'll probably say it again, no doubt, later on today, that the breaststroke leg is often the one that sorts out the men from the boys.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to have a strong all-round performance, but that breaststroke is, you know, if you haven't got that strong breaststroke, then that's where the rest of the field can start to really turn the screw and go away from you. You know, you've got to be up there the first half of the race, and then also back it up with a strong breaststroke and finish it off strong on the freestyle. It is, again, you seem to have all the grueling races this morning. 200 fly for women is a tough event. 100 or 400 IM here for the men is another one up there. That's one of the hardest events on the program.
Just remind you that tonight we have the 800 freestyle for women as well. That was heats of which were held yesterday morning. Jazz Carlin going into that as the fastest qualifier, with Ellie Faulkner in 3rd and Kerry-Ann Payne as the 2nd fastest qualifier. That coming up in our evening session study at 6:30 tonight from Ponds Forge from Tollcross. All habits die hard. As Max Murphy continues to blaze the trail for the City of Milton Keynes in lane number 4, and is going to come in to touch and turn about 3/4 of a second ahead of Alexander Carroll and Alfie Collins in 3rd.
All these guys separated by half a second on their entry times. It's not quite panning that way so far. There's still a long way to go. It looks like a great second 50 on the backstroke leg from lane 3. Alexander Carroll from City of Coventry.
Well, he's got a good tutor. He has got a former Commonwealth gold medalist, Adam Rockwood, as his coach.
Former Olympian as well.
Yeah.
You see as well the difference. We spoke about it yesterday and on day 1, sorry, about the flip turn on the back to breast, or touching the wall on your back and then rolling over and pushing on your front. Doing it that way is so much slower. It's so much quicker to get your arm back onto the wall and then flip your legs over and push off. It's the quickest way, and you certainly saw that from lanes 4 and 5. One did it one way, one did it the other. One popped up further ahead.
And on the breast, Alexander Carroll's looking pretty decent as well. Not a great deal between all 3 of them as they go into the wall. In fact, they always went to the wall identically, 1 to 3, separated by 11/100ths of a second. 56-2, 56-2, 56-3, obviously with a 2 in front of it. And there's not much to choose from them on any of these on the breaststroke leg.
Well, we did say they're all separated by half a second on their entry list, and they're separated by a lot less with 150 metres to go. But it does look like it is lane 5. Alfie Collins just starting to make his move on this breaststroke, just stretching ahead a little bit, but there's nothing in it, nothing in it.
Lovely facility that I've visited a couple of times. Hillingdon, really nice pool, the outdoor pool as well, when they can use it, when the weather's decent enough. Probably be June or July before they get into the outdoor pool, but the indoor pool is a very nice leisure centre in Hillingdon. That's where Alfie Collins is training, and at the moment he's just about leading, but this is a race that could go any which way now.
Yeah, it looks like Max Murphy having a storming first length of the freestyle leg. Looks like he's coming up onto the shoulder of Alfie Collins. And look who's turns first. It's all about who's got that momentum going into the final 50. It is still going to be Alfie Collins that turns first, and he does so, but he's only 3/100ths of a second ahead of Max Murphy.
All in the 4:39s coming in here. And we'll look to see whether Max Murphy can go a little bit quicker. He certainly is going quicker than the other 2 now, starting to pull away. Those legs working hard, the arm pumping away. And he's going to have a good body length and a half, maybe 2 body lengths advantage over Alfie Collins when he comes in to finish here. City of Milton Keynes swimmer's going to get there first. 4:40 though Not quite as quickly as he would have liked, I don't think. 4:40.05 is the winning time. Alfie Collins in second in 4:42.36 and 4:44.12 for Alexander Carroll.
Exactly a second outside his personal best, or his entry time, should we say. He did pace it very well, with a lot left down that last 50.
I'm sure his coach will be saying to him, why didn't you go a bit harder on that? You know, because you may only get the one swim here. You probably will have only the one swim here. Why don't you just give it just a little bit more? But he didn't, and that was the result. We don't have a lane 4 for this event. Tom Derbyshire has decided not to swim, so 7 starting this one. Oliver Kincart of Portsmouth in 1, Luke Robbins of Millfield in 2, Thomas Dean of Maidenhead in heat number 2 of the 400 IM, Zach Logue of City of Sunderland, George Clough of Warrender, followed by Cameron Croot of Swansea in 7, and Kieran Bird from Bicester in lane 8.
Yeah, no Tom Derbyshire. Probably saving himself the 1500 that starts tomorrow. But it's a great fly swim from Zach Logue in lane number 5. Also going very well in the outside lanes in 1 and 8.
Kieran Bird catching up in second place. He'll get the turn in second, but Zach Logue of City of Sunderland is in front, and in front by an appreciable distance on the butterfly. Third place on the far side is Oliver Kincart and Thomas Dean in 4th, but as we always say, it's like 4 races in 1 here. The complexion of it changes rapidly, changes almost before your very eyes. But in terms of keeping the lead going, that's exactly what Zach Logue is doing for City of Sunderland. Nobody in his slipstream or close to him yet. His backstroke is backing up his butterfly.
It certainly is still going well. Lanes number 1 and 8, and it is still Zach Logue from City of Sunderland turning first, extending that lead over Kieran Bird from Bicester in lane number 8. There's a lot of space between lanes 1, 5 and 8 at the minute, so these guys probably not going to see each other, not going to understand how the race is panning out. Zach Logue that is starting to really turn that screw in the backstroke. Like to see what he's got on the breaststroke.
Yeah, nearly halfway. This will be the halfway turn for Zach Logue, who continues to lead from Oliver Kincart now in second place. Thomas Dean in 3rd, and Kieran Bird, with that great butterfly leg, is stepped back into 4th. This is where it really starts to unravel and starts to show us exactly what this race might complete with the breaststroke leg, and this is where they're starting to make a bit of inroads on Zach Logue, and in particular Thomas Dean in lane 3 is making inroads.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's worked his way up the field. He's absolutely flying down this breaststroke leg. We're just going to be edged out to the 50 mark of the breaststroke. No, in fact, he takes the lead. He's now gone into lead 1/10 ahead of Zach Logue.
It shows you how he had a lot to make up there as well between the backstroke leg and the breaststroke leg, and now he's starting to make things happen, although Zach Logue is keeping that distance between them. In fact, if anything, he might just be coming back a little bit, but it is the green cap of the Maidenhead swimmer in 3 who's got to the front of the field. Zach Logue at the moment just holding fire in second place, and Oliver Kincart of Portsmouth North Sea on the far side is in 3rd, and now it comes down to the last 100, the front crawl, the freestyle. Let's see whether Thomas Dean can bring it home.
Fantastic breaststroke leg. Worked his way up the field, and now he's got a commanding lead over the early pace setter Zach Logue. It's all about trying to get to the wall in the fastest possible time, and he's only got now 70 metres to go.
Thomas is the youngest in the field as well, one of the 2000 intake.
Just coming to the final turn, Thomas Dean doing 4 minutes 0104, so he's 3.4 seconds ahead now to Zach Logue.
I wonder if we're going to see a huge step down in terms of time from Thomas Dean.
Well, yeah, he's got to come back in at 35 to go under his entry time. Sure, he's going to go faster than that.
4:36 is what he's achieved before, and he's looking to go appreciably quicker than that. He will go appreciably quicker than that. 4:32.78 for Tom Dean. Good swim, very much appreciated by the coaches on the far side and by the crowd as well. Zach Logue holding on to second place, the early pace setter, 4:35.20, and third to Oliver Kinkart, 4:35.87. So yeah, that's a sizable drop down in time from his entry time anyway for Thomas Dean.
Yeah, for certainly the top 4 of those guys going faster than the entry time. Oliver Kinkart from Portsmouth Northsea, another sizable improvement as well. A great swim out in lane 1, was up there at the 200 metre mark, then dropped back on that breaststroke, but came strong through on the freestyle.
Well, we've seen one Miley already today. We're going to see another one now. Alistair Miley, Hannah's brother, going for Geary in lane number 6. Looks like we don't have a lane number 5 this time, so Ryan Brown is scratched. Max Jameson of Thanet Swim in 1, Matthew George of City of Salford in 2, Tony Joe Trent Oliver of Mount Kelly in 3, Hayden Griffiths fastest in the field on paper anyway is Ellesmere College in lane 4, Alistair Miley of Geary in 6, and Nathan Wells of West Norfolk 7, Ashley Hogg, City of Manchester Aquatics makes up the 7 who are doing this race.
You won't make that mistake again, will you?
I will not make that mistake, yeah. This is the yes-no interlude, is it?
You did get told off, so to say.
I did. No, I'm happy when I make a mistake to correct it, and hopefully those at Ellesmere College will at last forgive me, and Alan Bircher will too.
We've seen his sister a lot, Hannah Miley. Now it's time for Alistair to show what he's got. And he's turning first in lane number 6 from Geary. 60.2. So the quickest at the 100 metre mark so far this morning, as you would expect as these heats start to get faster and faster.
Hayden Griffiths is the, by the way, fastest in the field, 4:33 on entry time. To get Alistair Miley's entry time at 4:34, so that's kind of what he'll be aiming at. Interesting that sister does the 400 IM and he does the 400 IM. Is that down to Dad, do you think?
Yeah, I think there's certainly, you always look up to your older sibling, and almost that's going to run in the family now. He wants to emulate what Hannah's achieved over her successful career. She won the British Championships 10 times in the 400 medley. But apparently, Bob, you've just agreed that if he touches the wall first at 200 metres, you're going to do a 400 medley in the break.
I've agreed to do no such thing.
But let's see if he touches first.
Yeah, well, I haven't agreed to do such thing, so there you go. It's immaterial.
Oh, he's touched first.
No, he hasn't finished yet.
No, we said at the halfway mark.
You're making these rules up as you go along, aren't you? 2:08.55 for Alistair Miley. Second is Matthew George, and third place to Max Jameson, no relation in the outside lane, and Geary, followed by City of Salford, followed by Thanet Swim, the 1, 2, 3. It's an impressive display by young Alistair Miley here. Dad will be looking on someone and having a quick look around the crowd to see if I can see. Yeah, Dad's, no, he's not. I can't see Dad actually at the moment. He'll be in the vicinity, I'm sure, looking on at his young charge.
Tony Joe Trent Oliver from lane number 3 starting to make a move on the breaststroke leg. Currently still is in third, but he is eating into the sizable gap that Alistair Miley does have in lane number 6.
I bet his face doesn't go as red as his sister does. Because that was always thinking, when I first started watching Hannah Miley, it used to worry me just how red her face went. Like she was about to explode. It went beetroot red.
She's just one of those swimmers that works incredibly hard. She's hard on herself as well when she doesn't train as well as she wants to. She is just one tough cookie. But it's still going to be Alistair Miley. He turns first at the 300 metre mark. That gap has closed. Here's Tony Joe Trent Oliver. He's closing that gap, but who's got anything left in the tank on the freestyle leg?
Well, it does look like Tony Joe Trent Oliver and Mount Kelly is maybe the answer to your question there, Ross, because he is coming back stormy in lane number 3. In fact, that was a very impressive first 35 metres because he's broken the back of the field, it would seem. Now, we need to keep an eye on what his personal best was coming into this event. And it was, and is, 4:34.68.
Yeah,
well, he's going to be appreciably inside that too, isn't he?
Well, he's going to have to come back into 30 points if he's going to do that, so he's got it all on. It's not quite as quick as the previous heat.
And Alistair Miley is making inroads into it. Maybe he's just struggling a little bit over these last few metres. How quickly can he get to the wall? There's the wall. Come on, wall. Get to me rather than me get to you. 4:35.13 is the time. So just outside his personal best, literally about half a second outside his personal best too, for Tony Joe Trent Oliver, but he gets to the wall first. Second place to Alistair Miley, and third to Ashley Hogg. That is your 1, 2, 3 as we start to move into the cyclically seeded heats very shortly. In fact, we're right up next.
Just shows you what a great swim that was from the previous heat. Thomas Dean, 2:32.78 is still the quickest so far this morning.
Heats 5 and 6 will be where we get to the cyclically seeded. Who have we lost this time? We've lost lane number 5. Luke Davis is not entering this one, so quite a few scratches this morning. We have the start of this, but then somebody doesn't show, and it is Luke Davis on this occasion from Birmingham who's not there. But Jamie O'Connor of Thanet Swim is. Brodie Williams likewise from Millfield. Rubens King of Guildford in 3. John Britton just down the road from where I am at the Ealing Club in 4. Ben Evans of Thanet Swim goes in 6. City of Oxford's Luke Thomas in 7, and Craig Munden of Loughborough goes in lane number 8.
It is Craig Munden from Loughborough University turning first, 27.10, and a great butterfly leg. 0.8 quicker than anybody at the halfway stage of the first leg.
He's got the advantage over the others, probably about a body length, no more than that for him going into the wall here. Craig Munden will turn at 58.90, so inside the minute, which Ben Evans is not quite. 60.08 for him, and 60.09 for Brodie Williams in third place. Very tight for second and third. Still leading the pace on the backstroke leg at the moment. Anyway, Craig Munden in lane number 8.
Yeah, 1.1 second advantage at the first leg, at the end of the first leg. They're playing to his strengths. See another swimmer on the outside lane taking this to the centre lanes. Also going well is Brodie Williams from Millfield in lane number 2. It still is Craig Munden from Loughborough University turning first. That gap, Brodie Williams is eating into that gap. Probably expecting to be turning first at the halfway stage, the lad from Millfield in the green cap.
Yeah, separated out by 6 lanes, aren't they? 2 through to 8, so neither are probably aware of what the other is doing. And it is going to be Brodie Williams who's going to come in with a fairly sizable advantage after the backstroke leg. Turn that one right around. Onto the breast he goes in 2:06.13. Craig Munden in second, Ben Evans in third, and John Britton in fourth. As things stand, we're looking at the extremities of the pool here. 2 and 8, and at the moment just about holding on Brodie Williams, but there are some stronger breaststrokers in this field, it would seem.
Yeah, he's got a great advantage. His coaches from Millfield looking on. One of them is Ewan Dale, silver medalist at the Commonwealth Games on this very event in 2006. And obviously sharing his wealth of knowledge on 400 metres IM. He still is turning first in lane number 2, so he's got to bring this home. The final leg of the breaststroke, and then on to the freestyle leg.
Craig Munden still in second place, but the big move being made by John Britton of Ealing in lane number 4, who's coming back strongly. So too Ben Evans of Thanet Swim in lane 6, and the person with all the momentum at the moment, aside from our leader, is definitely John Britton in lane number 4 from Ealing. Is moving into second place now with 100 to go. So our leader remains the Millfield swimmer Brodie Williams, but it is now John Britton in second place for Ealing and Loughborough's Craig Munden in third.
Yeah, let's see what Brodie Williams has over this final leg. He's looking tired on that turn. It looked a very tired turn. Probably could have been a little bit quicker, but he still is stretching that. Oh, he's not stretching that lead, but he's holding that lead. He's got very low stroke rate, very strong kick.
Looks like he's got this, to be honest. There is still an appreciable distance between him and the Ealing swimmer with 50 to go. Let's see what the gap says on the screen. It says it's 1.7 seconds between first and second. I don't think it's going to be quite 1.7 at the end, though.
Fantastic swim again in lane number 8. Craig Munden. Have to see when they get to the angle, but it still is Brodie Williams out in front with 15 metres to go. He's going to close this heat number 4 out.
Finishing like a train is Craig Munden in lane number 8. Not going to be good enough to catch the leader, but he's going to reclaim second place. Well done to Craig Munden of Loughborough. Really came through very fast at the end there. Winning time though, 4:29.75 for Brodie Williams, and that's a big PB. Well, certainly a massive increase, an improvement on his entry time, which was 4:34. He's down into the realms of 4:29 now, 4:29.75. Craig Munden 4:30.97, and John Britton, who I thought was going to get second, tailed off a little bit into third.
A great swim from Brodie Williams. Really played to his strengths. They say over a 2.5 second improvement on his entry time. Fastest swims so far this morning.
Into the big boys now though. These are the main movers and shakers in the 400 IM coming up in the next couple of heats. Roberto Pavoni, one of our Olympians from 2012, going in lane number 4 for Loughborough University. Other side of him we have Jacob Grinoff of Taunton Dean, Joe Litchfield of Doncaster Dart, Xavier Mohammed, who had a really good swim on day 1, goes in lane number 3. University of Stirling's Lewis Smith is in 5. 6 is Fraser Minican of Loughborough, Fabian Whitbread of City of Oxford in 7, and Callum Laurie of the First Club goes in lane number 8. This should all be about Roberto Pavoni unless somebody's going to spring a surprise.
Well, we talked about Xavier Mohammed before. He had a great junior career, went to the European Juniors, smashed records left, right and centre, and he's not really done much for many years, and came in last night and got a bronze medal on the 100 metres backstroke. So expect him to really use that as we flip over onto his back now and really try and eat into that deficit that he has, that Roberto Pavoni has. Also going well in lane number 5, Lewis Smith of University of Stirling. The Commonwealth Games team for Scotland over the years.
It's the big issue for Pav has been a lack of funding in recent times. Lost his funding, was it 18 months ago, something like that, and has been kind of working his way back, trying to prove that he's worthy of getting some recompense, and is certainly leading this. You know, with the strong backstroke that Xavier Mohammed has, Roberto Pavoni is keeping him at more than arm's length, virtually a body length advantage over him and Lewis Smith. In on Fraser Minican of Loughborough, who's moving through in lane number 6, but looking good, looking controlled, looking very smooth. Quite effortless from Roberto Pavoni. A bit more effort being put in by Xavier Mohammed on the far side, but he led at 100, he's going to lead at 200 as Roberto Pavoni switches from back to breast.
Yeah, great swim so far from Pav. He just wants to do enough to get into that final. That consideration time for the Rio Olympic Games is very tough indeed. 4:12.08, so we have to go a lifetime best of around about 16 100 second if he wants to be under that consideration time. We saw him have a great battle last year with Dan Wallace. Dan Wallace, of course, is the British record holder from the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow 2014 in this very pool, so I'll have fond memories of racing here.
Yeah, he'll be up next, so this is a kind of, let's put down a marker and see how you respond. So Pav won't want to go slow, of course. This is a straight to final, as it always would be in a 400 IM, and no hanging around in the morning. You can't
might be 10-20% below what you need to be, because the times would just not allow for that. And Pavoni, 15 to go on this leg. It's looking either side. You'll see Lewis Smith in lane 5 with the purple trunks, and Xavier Mohammed on the other side. But again, he's led on the first 3 legs and is going to try and take it back over the last 100. It's still Roberto Pavoni by 1.5 seconds from Lewis Smith at that turn, with Xavier Mohammed in 3rd.
Yeah, he looked very comfortable actually. Pav in lane number 4. You're right, he does want to have a centre lane, he does want to win this heat and close it out. But he's also wanting to save a lot of his energy reserves, because like I said, that consideration time is very, very tough tonight. He's going to have to do a lifetime best to be under that consideration time. So he's going to try and save all that energy, but get a centre lane as well. It's a fine balance, but he's doing it very, very well. Lewis Smith is trying to make inroads into him, but Pav's looking to his right. You see every single stroke of Lewis Smith. He'll just edge it out and make sure he wins this heat.
They've pretty much dropped Xavier Mohammed in terms of being a threat for first place. Lewis Smith still has designs on getting first, but Roberto Pavoni just going to get to the wall first. Not much in there in the end. 17/100 separating Roberto Pavoni and Lewis Smith. 4:20.76 plays 4:20.93. Xavier Mohammed in 3rd place, and 4th going to Callum Laurie of the First Club in a 4:25. So a nice solid 4:20 swim for Roberto Pavoni, but it'll have to go some 8 seconds quicker tonight.
Yeah, 8 and a bit seconds quicker. But no, he looked very good actually. He looked very good. Looked like he was just going through the motions this morning. He's now fastest qualifier. Don't expect too many people to go quicker than that, so he's going to have one of the centre lanes. He wants to be as close to Dan Wallace as possible, so they can really slog it out tonight.
No 6, no 7 in this one. We're missing 2 swimmers in this event. Mark Zoranek and Tristan Slater have not showed. A lot of withdrawals this morning in different events. 2 in the final heat of the 400 IM. So I can give you the names that do remain. Alex Dunk of Prescott, Thomas Payne of City of Manchester Aquatics, Matt Johnson of Bath University in 3, Dan Wallace, the aforementioned from Warren de Baths in lane 4, Max Litchfield of City of Sheffield in 5, and Nathan Hughes of Hatfield in 8. It's a big gap between Nathan and Max Litchfield. They're almost in a different race there. There's 2 empty lanes next to him.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's having a quick look over actually, Nathan Hughes, to see where the rest of the guys are. So far it is Dan Wallace in lane number 4 that's just got his nose in front. And he does it at the first turn in 57.91. A great turn from Max Litchfield in lane number 5 from City of Sheffield. It actually now is Max Litchfield that's streaking ahead, half a body length. You see there on the screen that the swimmers keeping their heads really, really still. Rotating from the shoulders, not moving the head at all.
Well, the chest remains, apart from obviously when they turn at the 50, about as flat as you possibly can get it, and you want to be as high in the water as you possibly can on backstroke. You don't want to be sinking down below. You want to have that chest visible at the top. Try and remain as perpendicular to the top of the water as you possibly can, and that's what we're seeing from Max Litchfield at the moment. Looking very impressive. This will be a bit of a fillip for Russ Barber's. Had one of those kind of mixed weeks for City of Sheffield so far, but this is looking good for Max, who turns in 2:03.28. So at the moment he is leading Dan Wallace by a full 3 seconds.
Also going well, Alex Dunk in lane number 1, turning 2nd from Prescott. But no, Max Litchfield is looking very good. Looking very good indeed. But these guys, doesn't know they're going to make the final later on. I just wonder if Daniel Wallace didn't have the greatest 400 on the opening day. Whether he's putting his eggs into this basket and also the 200 metres freestyle later on in the week.
Get the impression that Max is really going for this, that his best is 4:15. He
doubt if he'll get 4:15 this morning, but he really is going for this. He's not holding back at all. And look at the distance there is. I was expecting Dan Wallace to start to pull it back, because he's a decent breaststroker, is Dan Wallace. But Max Litchfield's not allowing him back into the race. He might just be picking up a bit of his stroke now, Dan Wallace, but there's still 1, 2, 3, 4 body lengths between the leader and second place. Still an appreciable advantage.
Yeah, there certainly is. And, you know, Max Litchfield, he's got eyes of making that team for Rio. Needs to, or can afford to back off. I should say, shouldn't need to do anything, but he can afford to back off and save himself. He is a little bit younger than the likes of Roberto Pavoni, a couple of years younger than Daniel Wallace, but it looks like Wallace is just going through the motions, but there's no doubt that Max Litchfield really is going to put a bit of a marker down.
He certainly is, and he's going for it. You see the contrasting strokes at the moment. Maybe Dan Wallace is struggling a bit here, because they say he looks smoother from Max than it does from Dan at this stage. And Litchfield will turn 3:46.78. It's all right.
Yeah, it is all right. Yeah, it is all right. No, he's just going to 31. He's going to go under the 3:20 to mark unless he really takes his foot off the gas. Dan Wallace is going to be around, you know, early 4:20s. So, you know, they're going to be in the final tonight, but this is looking good. Doesn't look like Max Litchfield is really pressing onto the gas.
Well, 4:15 was his best, and 4:17 in the heat. I tell you what, I'm impressed by that. Really impressed by that. I think he obviously wasn't going for broke, because he's gone faster than that, but that was a really good time for a heat, and the fastest time of the morning by quite some way in the end. 4:17.09, Max Litchfield, and he won that by almost 6 seconds over Dan Wallace, with Alex Dunk in third place. So I suppose that the question is, was Dan okay?
He looks okay. He looks fine. Looks like he was going through the motions. But it's going to be how much does that take out of Max Litchfield. He wants to be in the mix. And that's consideration time. Didn't need to go that quick this morning, but he's younger and hopefully he'll recover quickly.
Just wait for the board to revolve, which will tell us who has made it into the final. Here we go. Max Litchfield the fastest, Roberto Pavoni, Lewis Smith, Dan Wallace, Xavier Mohammed, Callum Laurie, Alex Dunk and Fraser Minican all into the final. Matt Johnson missing out, and Nathan Hughes as well in 9th and 10th. 400 IM final in the programme starting at 6:30 tonight.
Well, there's certainly some shocks in times today, shocks in performances. Which ones there, needless to say, stood out for you, Kate?
Well, I think it was unusual not to see Dan Wallace winning his heat. He's the British record holder. He's the Commonwealth champion here 2 years ago. But it was actually Max Litchfield that did a time of 4:17, which really separated out the film, left Dan Wallace for dead, and then the rest of the field just could not keep up. We've also got Roberto Pavoni, who just set a 4:20, so they're going to be in with the mix. But I think maybe Dan Wallace isn't showing all his cards
his
just yet.
Today as well, isn't it?
Birthday as well. Maybe he's feeling a little bit older. 23, tough age, isn't it? Really.
Oh God, I wish I was 23 again. I'm not going to lie. Absolutely not going to lie. But I mean, in terms of replays of looking back at some of the performances, it's interesting to see where you see quite a gap in performances. How difficult is that, Kate, when you're swimming, you've got somebody a few seconds behind you, you're at this prestigious event, you know what's coming up this summer, you need to be pushed. How hard is it in the heats, because we go straight through to the finals later?
Well, the question is, did Max Litchfield, as we can see here, decide to go out hard? Is that his plan? Did he want to post a really good time? Maybe he reacts better to going out hard in the heat, then back up in the final, and maybe someone like Dan prefers to take it a little bit easier. He knew he was going to make the final. He just had to post a solid time and he'd be in the final as well. So it does mean that they're slightly different in their approaches.
Okay, well, let's move on to the women's 50 freestyle heats.
Are you ready for the splash and dash? Yeah, here we go. Far end of the pool. So they come towards us. They're going away from us at the beginning. And that's your lineup for the first heat. You're fidgety, what's wrong? All right.
Just trying to get comfy for this splash and dash.
All right. Amy Grant, City of Derby in 2, Holly Taylor of London Aquatics 3, Callie Ann Warrington of Maidstone 4, Freya Anderson Ellesmere 5, Madeline Exton of Rushmore 6, Mia Maspers of Team Ipswich in 7:25 gone.
Yeah, it is in the blanket so far. It looks like a great start from Amy Grant, City of Derby, and it is in fact going to be her that takes this first heat.
Now, what has she done prior to today? Best I have on paper for her is 27:15. Well, she's improved on that. 26.38 is the winning time for Amy Grant. Second place to Freya Anderson, 26.82. And third to Holly Taylor in 26.94. Always nice to break a little barrier. Maybe not a significant one for anybody else, but going out to 27 is nice for Amy Grant.
Yes, sizable improvement on her entry time. 0.8 over a 50 is massive. You know, these girls, they're getting down to the 25 seconds mark. They are travelling at 2 meters a second, so 0.8 is around about that meter. So, you know, it's a big improvement.
As you line up, I won't go through them all this time because otherwise it takes up most of the race, but we'll look at the centre lanes, the ones who've got the fastest entry times. Mia Hawkes of Barnet in 3, Jane Brown of Newcastle in 4, and Eleanor Mitchell of London Aquatics in lane 5. We kind of expect them to be at the front of the field come the end of the 50. Great entry time. In fact, look at the entry time from Brodie Judge, 0.43.
Yeah, that was really quick. I don't know whether actually it was a bit of a mistake on our board, but that was a very, very quick reaction time. And it is lane number 1 and 4. Don't rule out lane number 8 as well.
Well, that fast start has meant that Brodie Judge is at the front of the field. Can she hold on to the wall? Yes, she can. 26.76. Well, if that entry time, sorry, the entry of her reaction time was right, that was a phenomenal start by Brodie Judge. 26.76. That's a new PB. It's confirmed, so it's legal.
And only 4/100 separating first to third, so that just shows you how tight the 50 freestyle is. But yeah, no, you just don't know whether the reactions on the block was working properly, but 0.43 is really, really quick. And you know, I had a look and see if it was official. It is official. So yeah, if that was the case, then great.
Done.
But normally a fast start, you don't get much quicker than 0.6. You have seen somebody like Ruta on the 100-metre breaststroke. He's probably more towards the 0.59. So yeah, 4.3. I think that was more of a mistake.
Yeah, I looked at that. I thought, well, let's see if lane 1 produces the same this time. No, it doesn't. Everybody around about the 0.66, 0.65, which is kind of what we expect, really. And Emily Large, who we've already seen doing just that earlier on. At the moment is finding Anna Fleming in lane number 3, heading her in this one. So it's the swimmer from City of Glasgow, obviously a home swimmer, knows this pool inside out, and home advantage is helping here because she's going to finish in first place. 26.32 for Anna Fleming, 26.72 for Emily Large. So a good swim for the Glasgow swimmer. And how does that equate to what she has done before? Well, previously 26.7, this time 26.3.
The fastest time so far this morning, just edging out Amy Grant from City of Derby by 3/100 of a second. So that is now the fastest time. That's the benchmark for these girls in heat number 3.
Again, at the moment, there's not a great depth in women's 50 freestyle with the departure of Amy Smith. Amy is now retired, so we used to have Fran Housel and Amy Smith. It's only now Fran keeping the flag flying in the 53. So we are looking for some swimmers to step up and start to put some pressure on Fran, who is still far away and has been for quite some time our best 50 freestyler. There's the 8 who will try and make it through to a final tonight. There are 3 finals, remember, the junior final, Target Tokyo, and the senior final. And there'll be this lot looking to get into at least one of those tonight. Emma Whittingham of Southport in 3, Darcy Deakin of City of Sheffield in 4, and Anna Pang of Guildford are on paper the fastest in the field. But a good start from Raquel Matos of Edinburgh in 2.
Also going well, lane number 5, Anna Pang. She looks like it is going between lane number 2, Raquel Matos, and Emma Pang, but it looks like Emma Pang just got her edge.
Yeah, Emma Pang's going to get there first. And second place going to Amy Godsave of London Aquatics. So Godsave not quite the queen today, but third place to Raquel Matos.
That's cheesy.
Best you're going to get from me at this stage. Especially with no sleep last night. Hedy Monteith in 4th place, and Darcy Deakin in 5th. So winning time 26.2 for Anna Pang.
Starting to get into the faster heats now. The likes of Harriet Cooper, Lauren Quigley. It's exciting to see. Anna Hopkins is not in this heat and in the next one from the University of Bath. 6 years younger than Francesca Housel. It's not as quick, nowhere near as quick, but hopefully somebody that can really challenge her over the next couple of years.
Penultimate heat, anti-penultimate heat actually, of the women's 50 freestyle. And Lauren Quigley, you mentioned, is in lane 4. Harriet Cooper in 5, City of Derby, and Chelsea in West. Isabella Hindley in lane number 3. But a terrific start from lane 1 from Sophie Smith. But we're looking at the centre lane. We're looking at the blue cap of Lauren Quigley powering through. She wants to win this, desperately wants to win it. Isabella Hindley is right alongside her, but Lauren Quigley got that really good start, looked good at 25, is looking good at 50, and Lauren Quigley is just going to get to the wall first. 25.64 compared to Emma Gage's 25.79. Third place to Isabella Hindley in 25.99. In fact, equal place with Harriet Cooper. Both of them clocking exactly the same time, 25.99.
Yeah, Lauren Quigley led from start to finish. Took her first breath around about the 35-metre mark. A powerful swimmer, really powerful. Just spent a lot of time training in South Africa with Stockport Metro. That's why she's looking very golden. She gets out of the pool.
We have 2 more heats of the women's 50 free to come. Just waiting for confirmation of that result. Yes, all flashed up on the screen, so that's fine. We can carry on. And we'll carry on with these 8, including Anna Hopkin, one of the emerging potential from Bath University in 4. Jessica Jackson, watch out for her in Plymouth Leander's colours in lane number 1. Casey Latham of Thanet in 3, and Rebecca Guy, City of Manchester. This is going to be quite a tight one, I think. We'll have to wait and see. Reaction times are all fairly similar off the block, and 25. This is going to be quite a tough one to call here, Ross, I think.
Yeah, great start from Katie Latham. Just train out in the States. They spend a lot of time working on their skills, so starts and turns. But now the power of Anna Hopkin is coming through, and she's edging this 6th heat very, very nicely.
Yeah, swum that well, swum it very powerfully indeed, and 25.41 is the time, just outside her personal best. Fastest time of the morning, though, thus far, with 1 more heat to come. 25.41, the winning time. Ellen Thomas in 2nd, 25.88. Rebecca Guy, 25.923, under 26 there. And Jessica Jackson in 4th place.
Yeah, commanding win over the 50.47. It was quite a sizable lead over the short distances. Next we will see, well, there we can see it on the screen, Francesca Housel, winning medals since goodness knows when.
Seems to have been around, bit on Lizzie Simmons. They seem to have been around for a long time and have done a lot of events, and we've kind of seen them grow, haven't we? We've seen their life before us, really, in swimming terms.
Yeah, well, Fran was on the Commonwealth team back in 2006, so she's been around on the international stage in the senior level for the last 10 years.
Rebecca Turner of City of Sheffield in this 2, Freya Rayner of City of Sunderland in 3, Fran in 4, Rachel Louise Masson of South Aberdeen in 5, and Kirsty Sampson of City of Aberdeen in 6. Well, this is a big surprise. This should all be about Fran Housel, who won't go for broke here, but she's certainly going to go for a decent time.
No, she's certainly going to put a marker down. She wants to get under that consideration time for the Olympics. She really is powering through. It doesn't look like she's going to let up either. She's absolutely flying.
And no breath. Head down, no breath. Here comes the wall. Smack. 24.64. Yeah, don't worry about your 25. So I don't deal in 25s, I'm afraid. 24.64 for Fran Housel. 2nd place going to Rachel Louise Masson, 25.95. But look at the gap in that. 1.3 seconds between 1st and 2nd. She's on a mission.
Yeah, she certainly is. She wants to get on the team for the Olympic Games. She actually took 1 breath around about the 37-metre mark, but it was that quick that you don't notice it. And every time that in a 50 you take a breath, you start to slow down. So it's all about getting that breath in quickly and driving to the wall.
Just wait for that to be confirmed, then we can give you the top 8 for the final. Remember, no semis here in Glasgow. We go straight to final from the heats, so that's why people have to swim a little bit faster and harder in the heat. So just wait for the details to emerge on the screen. We have the confirmation of the result. We will have the 8 who made it through any second now. And here we are, Fran Halsall, Anna Hopkin, Lauren Quigley, and yeah, just disappeared from me there. Freya
Well,
Rayner.
some very, very strong performances there, Kate, wasn't there? Particularly Anna Hopkin there.
Yeah, from the University of Bath, actually trained by my old coach Mark Skimming, and she did a great performance there. She posted that time earlier this year at the Bucks Championship, so she was coming here with lots of confidence.
Yeah.
And her finish at the end was spot on.
Well, let's take a quick look at a bit of a recap of her performance there.
As you can see, she's got, you know, it's flat across the board, but she just got that touch right at the end to do a 25.41. Brilliant finish, slamming that wall. I mean, you've got to hit that wall hard. You want to make
down
sure
and go for that
you want to
final
make sure
50.
you've got that time posted, and she really did. She's particularly inexperienced at this senior level, but she's really come to form over the past few years going to University of Bath, and it's really made a difference.
Yeah, we certainly enjoyed that performance. Now, I think at this moment in time, we have got a swim-off about to happen, so I'll give you a bit more information about that as that happens. I'm not sure if we're going to go straight to that now, but we'll have a quick look at Francesca Halsall's performance for her start. It was fantastic.
Well, Fran is the champion in this event. She's dominated this event from the very beginning, and she dominates it from the start. She was out in front, she had clear water, and as you can see from this replay, she's up, she's into her stroke, and the rest of the field do struggle to keep up with her. She posted a time of 24.64, over half a second ahead of the rest of the field. So
yeah.
I think it's going to be tough for anybody else to catch her this evening, but it's about getting it right. As you said earlier, they've got to get it just right on the night.
Now, we mentioned about Anna Hopkins' start and finish. Let's take a look at Fran's as well.
Because as we say, it's about
I'll tell you what, let's go
hitting
straight to
hard.
the swim-off and we'll come back to studio and talk about Fran Halsall.
I think we might have 2 swim-offs actually. Got one in the men's and one's in the women's. So stand by. Mars Munro up against Jack Thorpe for that final place for later on today. So Mars Munro of Bath up against Edinburgh's Jack Thorpe in the 100 freestyle. I think we will also have. Oh, well, he's just going. Well, there is no race here. There is no race because Jack Thorpe has given up. So Mars Munro is going for a time. It's not going to be a head-to-head because Jack Thorpe's going for a time. Mars Munro. So Mars Munro is basically saying, "I've had enough of this. I'm just going to let things go." And Jack Thorpe is going to swim all the way down. And I bet you, like normally happens in swim, obviously he'll go faster than he did in his original heat time. Let's see.
Nobody see that when actually racing head-to-head where this isn't a race.
No, rather odd, but there you go. It looks to me like Miles didn't really fancy it that much and is just swimming through. I don't know actually why he bothered. He might as well say, well, you just have it, Jack, to be honest.
Yeah, no. All right, sprint finish. There we go.
Hey, 102.10. I'm sure he's been quicker. Well, we know he's been quicker, but I thought what Jack Thorpe's original time was, but I bet you went quicker than that one.
No, definitely. That time he's just done would have just missed the final.
Yeah, so 50.26 will get Jack his position in one of the finals this evening. I believe we will probably, yet to be confirmed, also have a swim-off in the 50 freestyle for women. We'll keep you informed of that as we get more information. Right, so we'll let you know on the 50 freestyle in just a moment. It may be that, as often happens, Ross, in these situations, I imagine you've been involved in this, the swimmer might say, no, actually, I don't fancy another swimmer later on, and just hand it over to the other person. But generally in a 50, you would, wouldn't you? Because, you know, unlike an 800, if that happens, or a longer distance swim, with the 50, you would think, well, I might as well give it a crack, really.
Yeah, you know, and also, if we're led to believe that the 50 is for the final spot, so yes, you definitely would do, and it gives you another chance to race. I'll have to see. It's going to be interesting to see if we have it. But these things take a little bit of time. We've got to notify the coaches and the swimmers. It does look like
It's always exciting having a bit of a swim off. You know, it's a live show, of course it is, so things are just going to be thrown into the mix there. So potentially we may have another swim off for the women's 50-metre freestyle, but we will give you more information about that as we can. We were in the middle of talking about the legend that is Fran Halsall, won 30 international medals in her career. It was her birthday this week. She turned 26. What a way to celebrate, of course, to become British champion yet again for the 10th time in this event. Let's take a look at her finish. It was fantastic.
She's, as you can see, clear water ahead of the rest of the field, which is so unusual in a 50 freestyle. It's about timing it straight into the wall. She's got a body's length ahead of them, and that's why she's almost over half a second ahead of the rest of the field. And she just seems unreachable, untouchable at this stage.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got everything going for her. We know Fran sometimes struggles with pressure at the big stage, but at trials she knows how to perform. It's about how can she develop on from this. She's got the final to come up. She's got a British record time of 23.96. She's been the champion of this event for so many years. It's about whether now she can get that consideration time. That for her is what's most important, I think.
And now I've been asking every guest as they've been coming into the studio the importance of, we've got the junior finals, Target Tokyo finals, to be in a call room sat next to Francesca Halsall, knowing her credentials, knowing how successful she is. What must that be like for the young up and coming swimmers to look and think, wow, that could be me one day, and the next generation of swimmers coming through? It's a probability that we're going to have swimmers like Fran Halsall in the future.
And I remember when I was doing that against some of the big international stars, you sit there and you actually want to learn from them.
Yeah.
You want to know what they're doing. How do they handle that pressure? How do they prepare themselves?
And parents as well. What's she eating? Where's she sleeping? What's she doing? And
exactly. It's about getting as much as you can, because soon enough, Francesca isn't going to be the best in the country. Who's she going to hand that over to? Who's going to be the next stars coming up? And if they can take these opportunities now in this world-class event, seeing her at her best, they're only going to gain from that.
Yeah, and with the likes of Fran Halsall, Hannah Miley, Liam Tancock, these big names that we still have competing, still have to look up to. It's great for British swimming.
It is. They're multiple Olympians. I mean, they are around those that are going to be making their debuts in Rio, but the likes of Hannah's hopefully going to her third Olympics in Rio. And you just think of the experience she must have, the knowledge she has, and yet she's still out here doing every race possible.
Yeah.
And it's so great to see the youngsters and really letting those juniors and those Target Tokyo swimmers have a chance to race again, have another final, be in that call room and see what needs to be done to perform at their best.
Yeah. Now, Kate, you've got a busy few weeks, haven't you? Because you're back here. Is it next week, the week after? Tell me about that.
Absolutely right. So next week, next Saturday, we start of the British Para Swimming International Meet, where all of the Britain's best para swimmers will be trying to qualify for the Rio Paralympic Games. Just like this, it is their one and only chance to make that qualification time. And you'll see names like Ellie Simmons, who's a double Paralympic champion, competed in Beijing, competed in London. She'll be going for a third Paralympic Games, as well as Ollie Hines, who won gold at the Commonwealth Games here just a few years ago. He'll be going as well. It's going to be a brilliant event. Just like this, it's about them getting those times and getting on that plane to Rio.
And performing under pressure as well. That's another critical.
It is, and they've created these events to really emulate what happens at major games and really make sure that when they do get to those major games, they're used to all the timings, they're used to all the preparation, they know how to prepare their bodies to be able to perform at the very best. And I think we've got a great team potentially that could be on that plane to Rio.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the competition, moving forward for the training, how intense is it at the moment? For you can give me a bit of behind the scenes gossip, really. I mean, how intense is it? We've got sort of 4 months to build up that phase. How will swimmers be adapting their training? Because of course you've got the trials and you've got the events to qualify, but also the intensity of training and tapering leading up to these big events are crucial.
That's right. There's usually 2 big tapers that these swimmers work towards. One will be the trials or the big British Championships, which is usually around the March-April phase, and then it's the Summer Championships, which is either the Olympics, Paralympic Games, World Championships. So they have those 2 big meets to work towards, and the rest of the time they are up and down that lane, working as hard as they can. And I actually met with some of the British athletes from the para team not long ago, seeing them in training, and it's endless. They're training the same amount as these Olympic athletes are, and it's every day, twice a day, in the gym. If they're not in the gym, they're with the nutritionist, they're with the psychologist, they're with the physio. But that is what it takes to be an Olympic or Paralympic athlete. There's no let up. They've got to make sure there's been no stone left unturned. And at the moment, looking at these guys and looking at the para guys, they seem quite relaxed. You know, London was such a big deal. I think for anyone that was training, I was actually hoping to compete there, didn't quite make it. And for anyone, it just felt like, oh my gosh, how can I deal with this pressure? I think Rio, they're almost looking forward to, wow, we've done London, we know we can perform there. Now let's take another step up and let's compete in Rio and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you look at London 2012, which actually seems like 2 minutes ago, which is quite scary that it's actually 2016. It's scary that we're looking ahead now to 2020 as well. But this is part and parcel of the cycle of swimming, isn't it?
It is. You've got to make sure that we're not just blinkered by one event.
Yeah,
we've got to
which is very difficult when it was a home games, not to just be too focused on 2012 and nothing happening after that.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's the legacies.
And I think that's what the British team now are really thinking about. There's this real focus on beyond Rio, targeting Tokyo, making sure that those youngsters that maybe are disappointed they aren't going to Rio aren't lost in that. They're thinking, actually, for me, it's about 4 years' time. For me, it's about going to Tokyo. Or for me, it's about going beyond that again, because some of these guys are 14 years old.
Which is incredible to think.
10 years it can sometimes take to reach the peak of your career. When you look at that, it's Fran Housel and Hannah Miley, 26 years old.
Yeah.
So some of these youngsters have got 12 years worth of a career still to come. So it's about making sure we're nurturing them, making sure we're giving them the best support, development to get to those games when they are at that peak.
Yeah, which we certainly are, because obviously all these swimmers have got these fantastic opportunities. Having changed the finals format this time to have the target Tokyo is really kind of setting a benchmark. I know that Tim had mentioned yesterday it's fantastic for up and coming swimmers to be able to be in a position to, like we've mentioned, you know, look at their role models, but have that experience of being at Tollcross and being at a Commonwealth, an ex-Commonwealth pool, and having that pressure and being able to perform under pressure, because that is the crucial part, and not kind of letting everything around them become too much and them to sort of become too nervous. They need that experience, and that's exactly what they're getting from these finals.
Yeah, it's something that comes down to is simple things like walking out of that tunnel from darkness into the bright. All those people are cheering you and they're cheering for your name, and you're lining up, you're getting yourself ready, which is something we don't always appreciate what these young people are going through, especially if it's their first ever British Championships. I was speaking to a couple of parents up in the stands yesterday, and they were, I think, even more nervous than the swimmer, because they're like, they don't know how she's going to handle it. They've come all this way, I think they've come all the way from Exeter, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's a lot. It's a family affair. Everyone's involved, and they want to make sure that their youngsters are there to perform.
Yeah, well, we have some action on poolside now. Like I say, we love it when there's a bit of controversy in the mix. Do you know what I mean? We've got some swim-offs, but it's good. It's absolutely fine. So we are going to have another swim-off. So I'm going to hand you over to Bob and Ross. They've got a bit more insight into what's going on down there.
Thanks very much indeed. Well, yeah, I have a little bit, in as much as I've got two swimmers on the blocks, and I can tell it's the reserve place for the 50 freestyle. But there may well still be another one unless the coaches have come to an agreement, because I think Isabel Hindley and one other swimmer are likely to go for the last place in the final, unless an agreement has been reached for that not to be the case. But this is for reserve for the final. Sophie Smith of Loughborough up against Plymouth. Jessica Jackson. We did see John Rudd, the Plymouth coach, having a chat with the referee about that. Well, she may not have to worry, Jessica Jackson, about this. She's maybe just swimming through this one, because Sophie Smith is going to take the reserve position in 25.88 as opposed to 27.36 from Jessica Jackson. I think they just wanted Jess to get in there and do a swim, and that swim that she has done will be guided by whether the people on pool deck start to move away in a moment, which I think they're going to do. So I think that may well be our only swim off. Just confirmation for the reserve position that Sophie Smith 25.88. I'm just waiting for as soon as we see the officials move, we'll know that will be the only swim off of the morning. But certainly that 8th position for the women's 50 freestyle, the last position, was up for grabs. 2 8s on the screen. There will be no more swim, so that will be resolved for later on, and Sophie Smith will be one of the alternates for the final tonight.
Well, there's nothing worse when you know you've got a swim off and then you find out you're in the swim off yourself. You know what that feels like, don't you?
I was in a swim off at my first ever World Championships out in South Africa, and you've done your one race and you think that's what you need to worry about. You've done your one race and you can just forget about it.
Swim down and relax.
No, they suddenly call you back up. It seems mayhem in the studio. Well, I can't imagine what's going on behind the scenes with all those swimmers. They're trying to talk to their coaches. How am I going to get it right this time? What am I going to do differently? But as we saw there, Jessica Jackson touching him first to make it into that 50-metre freestyle final alongside the likes of Fran Housel and Anna Hopkins, who are hopefully going to do a great job this evening.
Fingers crossed indeed. Well, it's been a fantastic morning of heats. Now, don't forget, I keep mentioning it, this is the exclusive show. To see the exclusive footage as it happens, a live heats and finals. So make sure that you are tuning in every single morning, every single evening. Now, tonight is going to promise to be a fantastic evening of finals. We have, of course, the women's 800-metre freestyle kicking off tonight. Kerry-Ann Payne, Jazz Carlin, just to name two that are going to be competing in that event. Then we have the 100-metre freestyle for the men. Then we have the women's 200 metres butterfly, the men's 400 metres individual medley, and we're going to finish off the night with a women's 50-metre freestyle event as well. As we've just seen, had that swim off there today. Francesca Halsall, one of the favourites to go into that, to retain her British title. So that's it from us in the studio. Huge thank you to Kate Gray for joining me. Tonight I have another, I'm going to say celebrity guest coming in, a former swimmer, but I can't name any more names at this stage in time. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for joining us on the live stream. Don't forget, if you know any friends that enjoy swimming, direct them our way. We've had thousands of hits across the world. We want to keep making British swimming even more importantly known, as it should be, because we've had some great swims so far. So enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you tonight at 6:20 when the coverage starts to kick off, with a final starting at 6:30. So that's it, day 3 for the British Swimming Championships 2016. See you tonight.